right? Like if you're raising children, okay, we can have a conversation about that. But it seems like the vast majority of the time it's a matter of convenience. I don't really want to drive that far, to see her, or she doesn't have a car, or we can save a little bit of money if we live together, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like these convenience, right? Complicate life, justify why. Those 4 words, don't ever forget them. Think them through. Never live with your significant other unless you're married. Don't overinvest by volunteering to do tasks only a husband is obligated to do, is what this good dude said. Pro, sex was available. Cons, my development stopped. This popped up a lot too. A lot of guys said that they stopped. Essentially, they said something along the lines of, I stopped chasing excellence, right? Because she now lives with you, right? Your entire world, because a lot of guys make her their entire world. It's all about her, right? Whatever I can do to please her. She's my best friend. She's my sunshine. She's my rainbows, blah, 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 fucking shit, right? And they don't maintain a purpose. They don't chase excellence. They have chased her. They got her. And now it's time to retire. And it's not a good move. It's not a good look on you fellas. It almost always leads to her losing interest in you. I'm going to talk about, again, these 4 points, which is competition anxiety, betatization, frame, and legal issues were the 4 main ones that I want to cover, which I think are important. I'll get into those in a bit. I just kind of highlighted the ones I wanted to read. Here's one. So this guy, Ralbatross, says, she lost interest in me. She became less tolerant. She became even rude in some cases. I had to remind more and more frequently her place and warn her about her behavior. Sometimes the language doesn't make any sense. She even confessed one day, it's normal to have low desire after 3 to 4 months of living together. Well, okay. Maybe in your friends' lives. Well, 1 month after hearing this, I broke up with her. I was in love. Breaking up was one of the most difficult, right things to do. Now I'm keeping the girlfriend as a proximity, inviting her to my place and reminding her. Okay, so he must have moved into her place the way that he worded that. So he's saying that he's inviting her to my place and reminding her this is my place and she's a guest. Much better. I think we must keep the ladies in that limbo to get the best out of them. So there's some truth to that, which becomes evident when you read all 450 comments, which I did before doing this show. It's a bit exhausting, but I go through these exercises to make sure that I have everything I need to talk about. If you want to read them all, community tab of the Unplugged Alpha podcast on YouTube, community tab of Entrepreneurs and Cars on YouTube, Entrepreneurs and Cars on Facebook, and the Twitter post, you'll find them all there. 450 comments from all these guys. It's very, very common. And it seems like one of the things that became evident anyway is that women will always behave better when they're in the girlfriend state versus the live-in girlfriend state. They always say girlfriends are better than wives. And essentially, if you have a chick move in, she essentially becomes that like wife, even though you don't get married. I mean, the way the state sees it in most cases anyways is common law, like you're basically, together in that sense. Even though you don't have, make like an official ceremony, but it's true. There has to be some competition anxiety for her to feel her best about you. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Let me go through a few more of these over here. Let's see if I got any more highlights on this page. There's one. Actually, I'll skip that one. Let's go over to, does this tab? It does. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so this is a positive one over here. Hang on. Boom. So this guy had great things to say. He says, going on 9 years and wouldn't have it any other way. Our personalities work out seamlessly together. There's no arguments. We're both self-employed. She enjoys the fruits of her labor, and I enjoy mine. I got her into cars, and she got me into having a dog. We look forward to doing things together and also have a mutual respect for each other's separate interests and time. The only con is the place isn't as tidy as it would be if I took care of it myself. But for how great everything is after the better part of a decade, so we're talking like close to 10 years here, right? I feel even silly calling that a con because the place looks lived in and loved. I understand how many out there become jaded and even being in a relationship, let alone living together. After all, society has been increasing state of decay for many years by design, by the way. This guy understands. And the product of that is rotten people. The trick is to break away from the sick experiment and find like-minded people. Don't look for a girlfriend on social media or dating apps. So An honest, positive opinion from this gentleman, Robin, who's somehow made it work for 10 years for him, which is, good for him. There's a bunch of replies here. No kids. Then where would you look for a girlfriend? That's what I'm saying. Passport bros. What's this? Passport bros? The passport bros again, eh? Okay. Yeah. These are all spam comments. You're going to get those from time to time on YouTube. This guy Randolph said she was an excellent cook, took it upon herself to buy and prepare amazing meals all the time, but she was negative about my vehicle buying. And even though she wouldn't hesitate to ask to drive it when I got home. Yeah. Criticizing your spending habits seemed like a common thread thing, what you spend your money on, but then taking up the opportunity to utilize what you spend your money on, right? Bought a hot tub, put a pool in, bought a new car, criticized you, but then used it, willingly and enjoyably. She's gone now, and I have an amazing fleet of 8 different vehicles I sought out over the years. Dude's happy. Good for you, right? That was, by the way, one of the things that popped up in the negative side. Actually, the main negatives that I saw pop a lot were fighting, loss of privacy, nagging and bitching. Bad with money popped up quite a few times, meaning she would move in, but not end up paying like he thought she would. She would lose her job, lose hours. One of the things I noticed too is a lot of women like to try to negotiate what they're going to contribute to the household, whether you're renting or you bought it. I mean, buying is a different can of worms. You're inviting legal issues in. But so let's say you're a dude, you're making $200,000 a year. You're with a chick, she makes $78,000 a year. A lot of the time you'll see these women will be like, well, since I don't make as much money as you and the rent's, $2,000, then I should really only pay in proportion to what I make, right? Now, they'll pull that with a dude, but they won't pull that shit off with like a girlfriend or something like that, right? Like that's just how the cookie crumbles. You are going to find yourself in situations from time to time where it's like, well, you make a lot more money, so why don't you pay more of the rent, or you just pay all of the rent and I'll buy some groceries, sort of things. That popped up a few times too. You're going to get that from time to time. So there was money issues, loss of your hobbies, and the other thing, which was admitted many, many times, was intimacy diminishes pretty consistently across the board. In some cases, it was rapidly. There was many guys that talked about being cheated on as well. I got a couple, that I copied and pasted over here in my Word doc that I want to get into as well too, which I think I pulled most of those off Twitter. Let me just mute this damn thing. This guy over here said, I live with my now ex as a temporary solution. So sometimes it might make sense as a temporary solution to live with, a girlfriend. Your house is under construction. You've got 60 days closing. You're in limbo from one place to the next place. Then it might make sense to temporarily live with her. But in that case, like, you're living in her house anyway. So all the prior problems that I talked about with frame are of course going to come up. But anyway, this guy lives in a temporary solution because she had issues with her sister and needed to move out. So it sounds like in this case, she moved into his place. What was supposed to be a few weeks turned into a full-time cohabitation. The plus was segs, obviously, and companionship, and she would cook and clean often. Downside was that I had to pay extra for things. It only started to bother me because when she started working, her money was hers, and suddenly she had a family in her country of origin to take care of. So she moves into dude's place, isn't making contributions, and is all of a sudden sending her money back home. That's happened to a few guys. Another downside was I couldn't spin plates or have time to myself no more, and ultimately she started pressuring me into marriage. I had to end it and ask her to move out. If you aren't ready to settle down for a short period, fall in moving in together, don't do it. Reasonable advice. This guy over here, Spotted T, says, I started doing house chores because she didn't know how to keep a house. Imagine that. Modern woman doesn't know how to keep a house. That's incredible. She saw me in a different light, and she ended up cheating on me shortly after I started doing chores. That ties into the betaization through a thousand concessions that I want to talk about in a moment. I'll get to that when I get to my 4 main points. I just wanted to highlight some of these. Okay, so those are the main ones off of that. And let me just throw this Word doc up because I copied and pasted some of the other ones from Facebook and some of the other sources too. So stop screen. and share. And where is it? There it is. Boom. Okay. Pro, full sex access. Con, held in too many farts. I had to share that one. I thought it was funny. I dated this, didn't date, sorry. I went out on one date with this chick once, and halfway through the date, she proceeded to tell me that she has no tolerance for men that fart. All men fart. I said, really? So what would you expect a guy to do? I would expect him to get up and go to the bathroom and close the door and fart in the bathroom. I was like, you're going to be an old miserable lady. I hope you like cats. This guy over here, Matt Cowell, says, I lived in a sea can in Afghanistan for 705 days with 6 to 9 men, never one fight ever. Then he goes on to say, I lived in a 4,000 square foot house with one woman, and it's sometimes a nightmare. Reasonable point. This guy Legion says pros. More intimacy more often. You get to know what she's liked in all seasons. It's if she can cook, that's nice. You'll notice, ladies, if you're watching this podcast, men appreciate a woman with culinary skills. It's appreciated. You notice this so far? It's one of the things that seems to pop up quite a lot beyond just intimacy is they appreciate a woman that feeds. Difficult concept for a lot of modern women today to understand, of course. So, but you know, I got Uber Eats. I'm going to order you some Uber Eats. I'm going to do some drive-through pickup. I don't want to eat that shit. Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that short clip. If you did, consider supporting the creation of content by checking out my supplement line. Pinned in the top comment below of this video in the comments, there's a link to the unpluggedalpha.com/shop. When you click through, you'll be able to land over here, and the entire lineup is broken down by category that it performs best in: estrogen metabolism, fat burning, your foundational essentials for health, immune health, performance, and testosterone support. If you check out with coupon code ALPHA10, you'll get 10% off on your first order. There's also the option to use the subscribe and save model, where regular shipments will be sent over to you on a regular basis, and that gives you a little bit of a discount, and your supplement facts are always broken down over here. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And again, check out that link. It's pinned in the top comment below in this video. Peace out.